and welcome to Awakening the Blog. I will share today another part of the story, All That Shines Is Not Gold. So as I was getting closer and closer to the inner circle, the one that was allowed, because it seemed to be that the really inner circle around him, around this teacher, were just males, boys that were the closest disciples to the teacher, the master. And then in the outskirts of this inner circle there were the girls. Why? Well, that's just the way it was. And so I was attending these martial arts classes, and I was getting to know little by little all the members and the people around him. One weekend, there was I was wanting to sleep, but there was an awful cry of a cat. It was like a screaming, crying cat that made me feel very uneasy. And so I didn't feel good. I felt, there's something going on. And obviously I had reasons to pay attention to this kind of situations because when I was at college in Colorado, one day, as I went out to cross the street to across where I lived, there was a Circle K, or a little supermarket, and I was going to buy some granola bars. I remember that. And as I was crossing the street, a black bird attacked me. It came from I don't know where, probably the electrical lines, and it came and did this on my head. I mean, it had never happened to me. I said, at first I said, oh my God, why would this bird do that? So I went in, I bought the granolas, I went out, and I was crossing the street, and the bird did that same thing again. Then I had this feeling in my heart, and I said, something's not okay. So I decided to call home, and I found out bad news, that a very dear and close friend to the family had died at an early age. So, I'm going to pay attention to these kinds of things. Very unusual things, but I don't know how the universe is. Well, I know the universe connected. I just don't know how it works completely. Why a bird would want to do something like that. It's just reacting to my aura, and I had the information in my aura, possibly. So when this cat cried like that, I was feeling something strange, because it had never happened before. I mean, it was screaming horribly. So Monday, I go back to the practice of this teacher to get needled and just be there, as the students used to be. And everybody was very secretive. They were low gear and very secretive, and I said, something happened. What happened? But nobody wanted to talk about. So I think it was Tuesday that we went to the martial arts class, and this girl from the outskirts of the inner circle was missing. And then the master, the teacher, said there was an accident this weekend and she died. And immediately I knew that scream that I heard from that cat, the way that, like a baby crying, it was horrible. It was bringing me the news that something horrible has happened. I started crying and shaking because of her death, and because of how I am receiving this information. And I remember that the teacher approached me, and I hugged him, and I said I knew something bad had happened. And he said, yes, it was bad, but things happen for a reason. She's with us in another way. And as time went by, I tried to figure out what had happened. And there were so many lies around this accident. These guys were going down cliffs, like proving themselves to be supermen. Because that's what he was trying to help them feel, especially the guys. I mean, you do this and then you prove yourself. And I believe, part of the training is to overcome oneself and to believe that you could do certain things. But obviously, the way things happened were very unusual. She decided to be the only woman to try. So without notice to anybody, she just jumped down the cliff, and then she fell and fell and fell and fell and fell. And she hurt herself very bad. It took, I don't know how many hours to get her out of the ditch. I don't know how many feet or meters she fell, but they were a lot. And she was all hurt and broken and, bad. So they took her to her house, and her parents were not there. And some of the peers, the friends that they on that journey stayed with her meditating, because they didn't know what to do. Obviously, without any medical attention, by next day she died. I don't know if it was a hemorrhage or she was just not good, so she died. The environment was not obviously a happy environment around that, but everything was managed in a way that it made sense. Like, this happened for a reason. She is cleaning your karma. Through this situation, she's cleaning your karma. So everybody was feeling, oh, she's almost like a saint, or she's a very special girl for having died to help us clean the energy and do some sort of process. And everybody believed that. Everybody believed what he said. Everybody simply always believed anything he said. I mean, he would teach us, he would give us these lectures in such esoteric level that nobody understood. So everybody was feeling, oh my God, am I so far behind in my development that I cannot really understand what the master is saying, because everybody called him master. And everybody's talking about it. Did you understand? So, we would get together with between us, and we will all day long talk about the things that happened with the teacher, with the master. We would always be talking about things that were taught by him all day long. I mean, that was our lives. I remember my dad and saying, but what do you know about him? How can you really trust and know that he's what you think he is? And I just said, oh, Dad, you just simply don't understand it. So just, forget about it. But obviously he was right. But when you fall into this trance, when I fell into this trance, and when everybody else was exactly in the same trance under his charismatic appearance, we all just believed he was the greatest teacher there was. He gave us really great lessons, I must say. But the thing about it was not the great lessons that we could extract from him, but the awful, negative lies and manipulations that happened behind the wonderful teachings. Things were not clean, but we always thought they were wonderful, clean, that there was always an ulterior motive for things to happen the way they did. And we were not evolved enough to understand the transcendental reasons why all the things happen. There would be 2 more deaths on the years I was there. One was with a disciple that approached him and asked him, "Oh, Master, I'm going to another city to give clothing and food to people that have gone through a major crisis and they're poor, and is everything going to be okay?" He said, "Yes, everything is going to be okay, go." Well, she went, and on the way back she was in a car accident, she died. Again, everybody, "But Master, didn't you hear what she said?" And he said, "No, I didn't hear what she said. But she asked you in front of me," one of the disciples said, "if it was okay. Do you remember?" He says, I don't remember her asking me that." So we all went to her funeral and we did some energy work to help her leave the body, and we would just follow his instructions. And the third death that happened was with another disciple from the inner circle. That the thing was that, you know, he always made them believe that they were higher beings with higher powers, and they were always going to be, you know, above everybody else. That was sort of the feeling that he tried to make us feel. He a couple of times he would look at me and he said, "Do you agree, Master?" Like making me feel like I was like some sort of advanced spiritual teacher. And I never really felt, you know, the ego probably wanted to feel, "Oh God, you know, if he regards me like that, it's probably because I am worth something. I'm a spiritual teacher or something." But deep down inside, it didn't make sense. I didn't really buy that. So what happened with this last guy was that they were going in a truck. They were helping somebody move. And he decided to lay on top of the things of the truck. And without any sort of security or, you know, carefulness. And as they were driving, you know, I think the driver made a turn or stopped. I don't know what happened, but what I know is that he fell and he hit his head on the street, and he died. I must add something. It was so interesting, but I guess I'll leave you with that. You know, there were 3 deaths, and that's what happened. About this last guy, I had an experience that was really, really out of this world. But I'll share that experience in another video blog. Thanks for being part of this story, and there's always a reason why I share these things. And nowadays that we are awakening massively, for those people who need guidance, never lose your power. Never give your power to somebody else, somebody that is more evolved. Listen, practice for yourself, and keep on your search. Just don't give your power to other people. I'll mention about that experience with the last guy that died in the next part of this blog. Thank you.